Tha da step from Batu, where the hip control is important and the torso movement is necessary. He was very happy. Ha, Shankar student achi, bhalo karchi. Kaliyasta. He was a taskmaster. Like he wanted us to do everything perfectly. That perfection was not just physical. That perfection had to come through here. And when it came through here, it made meaning. I had not really thought of making Odissi my profession. But somewhere inside me, I knew this man is going to do something for me and I have to be devoted to him. He is my path giver. He is my life giver. Every morning, the first thing I got up and I did was this to the photograph. My husband said, "Arey, this is a change that has happened." सास ससुर को भी कभी ऐसे नहीं करती थी, ये कौन आदमी आ गया? I mean, he didn't say ये कौन आदमी आ गया. He knew who. I'm saying it in a Guruji. He loved dance. I mean, Odissi. I wouldn't say just loved. He was seeped into it so much that nothing else mattered to him. Dance was the focus of his life. He would say, whatever you are doing, you have to do with devotion and it has to be perfect. Math and dance both deal with facts and figures. Figures as in math we have geometrical figures. We have a circle, we have a square, we have a trapezium, we have a triangle. And in dance we have figures which are sculpturous figures. They're different figures. But your initial question, I think, yes, there was beauty in math that I loved. But once I was introduced to Odissi, I saw greater beauty in Odissi. And that's how I switched my career from teaching mathematics to studying, performing and teaching Odissi. He always used to be praised for what he has done for Odissi, and he would never himself ever say that he has done this. He said, I just cleaned up the statue, the sculpture, moved the dust away and presented it to you. First, totally groomed and grounded in your basic traditional dance form.
That is a non-negotiable.
Yes, be it Odissi, Bharatanatyam, Kathak, whatever. And then try and experiment. Because if your mind, heart, soul and body is not seeped into the classical form that you are doing, you want to do, if you try to experiment before that happens, it'll be a mess. Keep practicing what has been taught to you by your guru. Be sure that you are excellent at it, that it has seeped into yourself. And then try and experiment. Don't stick to only traditional.
What is the role of people like yourself, of senior gurus, in ensuring that we get the correct message?
The message comes through every teacher. If they see that their teacher or their guru keeps practicing what she or he has learned from his or her teachers and gurus, the way it is, and through that is creating something different, then the students will also feel, yes, we need to practice. We need to keep what is there the way it is, keep going on, and using that as the base, create something new.
Namaskar. A very warm welcome to everyone joining us here today. We have with us here today Guru Srimati Jhelam Paranjpe, founder-director of Smitalay in Mumbai, an eminent Odissi dancer and a very senior disciple of Guru Sri Kelucharan Mohapatra. As a part of the birth centenary celebrations of Guruji, which were conducted on January 8th, 9th and 10th, the Kelucharana Kirti Shatakam, ma'am was there, not just to reminisce about Guruji and his life and times, but also in the performances On January 10th, she performed Priye Charushile, a wonderful prabandha from Jayadeva's Gita Govinda. And today, it is our honor to have her here and talk to her as she shares several of her experiences and her journey, her personal journey through her life with Guruji and after Guruji.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Ma'am, if it is okay, would it be all right for me to start with you have had 50 years of experience in Odyssey. That's half a century. And now you've come for the centenary celebrations, birth centenary of Guruji. So the first 3 years were with Masterji.
Yeah, Masterji, that is Shankar Behra.
Behraji, Guru Shri Shankar Behraji.
Yeah.
And that was from 1976 till 79,
Nine.
and 1979 onwards with Guruji.
Yes.
So I would love it if you could just reminisce with just a short memory with both of them so that we begin. And then on, I would like to, take the formalities regarding choreography, how Guruji would choreograph dances and compose dances with you, your learning process, how you imbibed values. So just to begin with, if you could please share just a few memories with them.
I began with Shankar Behra, and that too because when I think I was in the 10th standard, I was part of a folk dance group, and we used to tour all over India. And one of our trips was in Odisha, and we visited KVK, Kala Vikas Kendra, Katak. And I saw Guruji teaching over there. Because prior to this, my mom had tried to put me into classical dance. She'd put me for Kathak, she'd put me for Bharatnatyam, but somehow, as a child, I didn't take up to it. But when I saw this, I said, this is something that I want to do. But that was in the holidays between 10th and 11th standard. And then it kind of just went out of my mind. And a friend of mine was learning Bharatnatyam, and I had said, this is Odissi is what I want to learn. But there was no Odissi teacher in Mumbai. After I completed my post graduation and I was teaching in a college, that's when this Bharatnatyam friend of mine told me that now there is a Odissi teacher who has settled in Mumbai. You can learn from him. And that is how I met Guru Shankar Behra. And I started learning with him. I remember with me that time Smita Patil also was learning with me. She learned only for about 3-4 months. But I loved it so much, and somehow my body also did it quite well. So I used to call Guru Shankar Behra Masterji. So Masterji said that you are so good, you should not stop at me. You should learn from my guru. And he lives in Odisha, in Cuttack. You should go there. How was I to go there? I mean, I had no connections. I knew nobody. My father was just a professor in a college. I had also just started teaching. I mean, the whole background was academic. And though, of course, my mother was a dancer, a folk dancer. So I was wondering what to do. But it so happened that, see, it's destiny. I will say destiny plays a lot of either good or bad in your life. So, in one of Smita Patil's filmy parties, Pratima Bedi was there, and Pratima announced that Guruji, Guru Kelucharan Mahapatra's workshop is going to happen in Mumbai. So, Smita immediately asked her, can my friend Chelam join? So, she said, let Guruji decide, let her come, let him. So, I went and auditioned in front of Guruji. I still remember he made me do this tak dha da step from Batu, where the hip control is important and the torso movement is necessary. He was very happy. Ha, Shankar student achi, bhalo karchi, kali asja. So that's how the workshop with Guruji started. And then there was no stopping. And the first month in Mumbai was so overwhelming that I decided to quit my mathematics teaching and shift to Odyssey. And then every year We would be in Guruji's Katak house for a month and a half or a month sometimes. And Guruji would be coming to Mumbai at NCPA, sometimes twice a year, sometimes once a year. And that's Guruji shaped my life, I would say, and gave meaning to my life by bringing Odissi into my life.
Ma'am, that's so beautiful. I mean, I'm so glad that we got to begin on that
This
note.
Okay.
I would like to follow it up by asking, ma'am, you mentioned that your respected mother, she was a folk dancer, and your background in mathematics. And we all know our beloved, revered Guruji's not love, but the values that he had for discipline, for precision, and for devotion, for complete, commitment. So, can you please tell me how you sort of wove in all of this into like your personal values and put that across into your work?
Yes. I would say that, see, this discipline, devotion, all this was there in my family. And then a person like Guruji comes into my life. So the all that kind of got enhanced or kind of got multiplied. And the focus on being disciplined, on giving dedication, sincerity to whatever you do, and do it with absolute devotion. Because with Guruji, I'll tell you, it was not just dance. Well, he was a taskmaster. Like, he wanted us to do everything perfectly. And that perfection was not just physical, that perfection had to come
From the heart.
through here. And when it came through here, it made meaning. I remember one incident in the Katak house. This mudra of mine was not perfect, and he hit me with his stick, and he was very angry. And but well, that's Guruji. And if I had cried, he would have said, "Get out." But after the class was done, when the class broke up for lunch, he called me, and he took my hand and he said, "Did it hurt a lot that I hit you?" He said, "Because look, I know you can dance well, and I want you to do better, and that is why I did this." So it was like, come on, Guruji, you can hit us all you want to, because you are making us. It was like when he would correct us, Tribhangi galat ho gaya, so he would come and hit
Push
us
the
and
torso.
push the torso. It was like he sculpted each of our bodies. He had the right to do that, and that's why we are the way we are. And devotion. See, my family, like, we are not religious, we are not spiritual, we don't believe in God, we don't go to temples, we don't have any photographs or little murtis in the house. And Guruji knew that. But once I remember him telling me that, don't stop at me, use me as a stepping stone to go to him. Even though you don't believe in him, he is waiting for you. So use me as a stepping stone and go to him.
I think that's really beautiful, ma'am, because for a lot of us, Guruji, Odissi, art, they are all just one. Like, that's how we see it. So, him being as that conduit to reach a higher level, even if we don't necessarily belong to the same faith or whatever we may believe in. But having Guruji as that one conduit, I feel that for his disciples and for his disciples' disciples, that's my generation and even those below me, that having him as that vehicle to reach for higher, it's extremely special for all of us, and we truly cherish it. And we are honored to have gurus like you who tell us this, so that we know that it's all right to have that path as well, with us. On that note, ma'am, would you like to tell us about, is there any specific experience that stuck to you? I know Guruji was a hard taskmaster. There were a lot of physical adjustments and corrections, and it probably hurt at that moment. But was there any particular formative experience that you feel that, at that particular point of time, things changed? And in retrospect, when you look at it, you know that this was probably a turning point where, things took, you went up, it transcended a level that you did not realize at that point of time, but right now?
I can't actually say, remember a particular incident or point,
Okay.
but my very first workshop in Cuttack. See, in Maharashtra, we don't have this habit of uh, touching the feet the moment you enter a room and you elders are there. We just do this. When I came here, that thing grew on me, like touching people's feet. And even now while talking, thoda mujhe, I'm getting those, but I realized that a person who has made so much change in my life, because that 1 month, it was in that first 1 month in Guruji's house, after the month in Mumbai, the first month in Cuttack, is what told me that this is what I need to do. That Guruji is my point of, what shall I say, faith, point of whatever I want to do. I know that it's going to come from there. That I had not really thought of making Odissi my profession. But somewhere inside me, I knew this man is is going to do something for me, and I have to be devoted to him. He is my path giver. He is my life giver. Because I came back from Cuttack and I had Guruji's photograph on the wall, and every morning the first thing I got up and I did was this to the
Pranam.
photograph. And I was married by then, of course, and my husband said, "Arey, this is a change that has happened. सास ससुर को भी कभी ऐसे नहीं करती थी, ये कौन आदमी आ गया?" I mean, he didn't say ये कौन आदमी आ, he knew who I'm saying it in a
In
jovial
informal way,
manner,
yes, sure, ma'am.
but that was definitely a change in me.
And ma'am, has that change, even though it may be whether it's that connect and the other values that we had spoken about, whether it's the discipline, precision, etc., how have all of them shaped the way you teach your students and your choreography as well? Like, because that's something that imbibing something is different, and passing
Right.
it on is
Right.
yet another matter altogether.
Right. See, the way Guruji taught, he gave. He gave us, and whatever was with him, he gave us, and he gave us in such a way that he, whether I should say wanted to or expected to, he I think wanted to is better, or maybe both, wanted to and expected us to do what he did. The way he taught us, I never asked him, but I was 100% sure that that's the way he would like us to give it to our students. And I think it's happening naturally, because the way Guruji gave us and the way naturally we absorbed it, the similarly we are naturally giving it, and we want and expect our students to naturally absorb it and go ahead. And about choreography, see, Guruji was a very observant, curious personality. Like, I remember at one of the NCPA workshops in the evening, like we would take turns sometimes in staying with Guruji and Guruma in the night. So in the evening, we were mm, on the roads near the beach, and there was this one woman walking, and she had a wonderful sway of the hips. And Guruji says, "Hey, dekho, dekho, kimti se nitumba haluchi." And that means, look how her hips are swaying. And then when we come back, he walks like that, and then he makes me get up and makes me walk like that. Or once I remember we were in the train or somewhere, and there was this bird flying outside, and I'm not really sure. Again, he said, look how the wings are moving. Look how the wings are moving. So these are the things that you observe and get into your choreography. It's like when I Guruji taught us the Ramayan, and then as a solo piece, which I've performed. But later on, when I had many students, I weaved it into a bigger dance
Production.
production. And when I was doing that, there was always a crow coming and sitting on the window and watching like this. And that's when I remembered Guruji and I said, I can take these neck movements for symbolizing Jatayu. So through Guruji's choreography was from here, and Guruji's choreography was by observing things around himself. And that is very important. And I also feel that, see, a child like you, I think there has to be a child in you, because a child is curious and inquisitive, and a child, you give a clay to a child, he will do something. You give a new toy, he will try to figure out what it is. So I think you need to have a child in yourself to create wonderfully. And Guruji always had that child in him. And I think all of us should try and keep the child in us, not let it go away.
That's wonderful, ma'am. I feel definitely, I feel a lot of us go through, we all have different backgrounds and everything. So there are things that weigh upon us, and we do forget that inner child sometimes. And I think as dancers, especially since it's such an expressive form,
Mm-hmm.
and it's taken, as you said, Guruji took from life around him. It's so important for us to remember and to observe, because that's something
Definitely.
I know my generation for sure, we're all stuck on our
On the
screens. So our
yes,
observation is here
only here.
as
Yeah.
opposed to being in the
Otherwise,
environment
yeah.
around us. Ma'am, here I'd like to bring up a point. Well, something that you mentioned during your reminiscences about Guruji. When you had done an entire Margam, at the end you decided to include a Marathi song as well.
Uh-uh.
So here, and as an eminent Odissi exponent, when you hold like high standards of classicism, because that's how Guruji has
Mm-hmm.
brought up all of his
Mm-hmm.
disciples. So how would you describe the core essence as what is the purity of Odissi, and
Mm.
if you can please connect it up to that, because I think that does, there is a
Mm.
good connection between that incident and your understanding of.
My incident, okay. You want me to talk about my incident?
Would you like to?
Oh, okay. Um,
If you've not like to,
no, that's okay. But then I would connect it to something else
sure,
also.
ma'am, please.
This was the inaugural performance of Smithale when I started Smithale, and I had called Guruji as the chief guest. And I had only 8 students at that time. And with these 8 students, I had presented 8 different items, like usual Mangalacharan, Pallavi, Batu, Dashavatar, Abhinay, etc. But one of those pieces was a Marathi song. In Marathi, we say Bhavgit. And that, of course, the description was Krishna, Radha, and Gopis. Ras, Ras Leela, you can say. But this was in 1988, so there was no uh, Mardal player that I knew who would be there, practice, and so only for that piece, everything was recorded. So I recorded this piece, and of course the music also was like Marathi Bhavgit. It wasn't Odissi music, and we had the tabla only for that thing. And I was very, very scared that what will Guruji say? And I hadn't told him earlier that I'm going to do this, because I had heard stories of Guru saying, "Get out to your students," and then so I hadn't told him. And then after the performance, actually this so he and then very next day, sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. The very next day, ODC workshop in NCPA was starting, and I wanted comments from Guruji. Of course, on the mic after the whole thing, he said "Acha hua" and all that, but I wanted in detail. For 3 days, I was going early before all the other girls came to ask him, but he wouldn't say anything. And I still remember the third day. Then Guruma had already told me that it's You did a good job. Guruma tells him ki in Odia that this girl is coming and like a chatak bird, she's waiting for you to say something and you're not saying anything. I still remember Guruji was shaving and then he finished shaving, he took me close and then he told me that it took me 2 days to think. First I thought, what is this girl doing? What is she doing to my Odyssey? Is this my Odyssey? But then I thought properly. Technically, dance wise, concept wise, everything else was perfect Odyssey. Only the language and the music was different. And then I also he said that I also thought that that was the piece that got the maximum applause because the full audience was Marathi speaking people. And so then he told me कि मैंने सोचा कि my Odyssey, if this girl is taking my Odyssey and she wants to make it popular in Maharashtra, why should I stop her? So then he told me, you can go ahead. So Guruji was so open-minded. He was not closed. कि ये मत करो, वो मत करो, ऐसे बिल्कुल नहीं था. From that, I'll tell you, with us Mumbai dancers, he created a piece called Ekakar for the 50th anniversary of independence to portray national integration. Now, four of us were taken. Devi from Bengal, so she did Rabindra Sangeet. Anandi from Chennai, so Tamil song. Daksha from Gujarat, so Gujarati song. Me from Maharashtra, so on something akin to Launi involving Krishna. And each of us in our, me in a 9-yard sari, whatever it is, state costume, traditional state costume. And after four of us finished dancing, Guruji in his traditional Odissi costume as Krishna, he comes, dances with us, and we end the whole piece in traditional Odissi dance in our costumes, doing Shantakaram and Moksha. So that is Guruji for y'all.
That's beautiful. I mean,
and I think that is why Guruji's students don't really hesitate if they want to do anything different.
So the integration is not just in terms of mind, body, soul, but it's also in terms of diversity of everything around. Diversity of the student themselves, of the individual themselves, and diversity of the environment around.
Right, definitely.
And so that it is definitely it's one of the most wholesome components of that makes his Odyssey what it is today. And
see, with Guruji, he loved dance. I mean, Odissi, I wouldn't say just loved, he was seeped into it so much that nothing else mattered to him. Dance was the focus of his life. But at the same time, Guruji as a person, as a human being, like he would say, whatever you are doing, you have to do with devotion and it has to be perfect. That didn't mean only dance. If you're cutting vegetables, be devoted, be focused, cut them properly. If you're cleaning a toilet, do that properly. And he was there in front of us when in the Katak house, when he did the gardening, जैसे मिट्टी निकालते थे, whatever, पूरा focus उधर था. Or if he was filling water, I mean, he did so many chores in the house also. And he danced also. I mean, it's very difficult to find a person like that. Well, whether to find a person or whether any time further a person like this will be born, I do not know.
Ma'am, I will take a slightly, let's go on a slightly different tangent, I'd like to say. Forgive my mathematical wordplay over there. Ma'am, you have an MSc in mathematics, right?
Statistics.
In statistics.
Stats maths were my subjects.
Statistics and mathematics. And normally people who delve into the world of statistics and mathematics see beauty in numbers. And they see patterns with numbers where others who don't specialize in it do not. And we all know, for us, Guruji was an artist, a mathematician, and everything, right? Like he was all in one. Uh, I would like to ask you, that beauty that you saw in numbers, in math, was there a transference in the beauty that you saw in art, in the art that Guruji created, in the art that you learned, in the art that you're also?
Firstly, I will say that math and dance both deal with facts and figures. Figures, as in math, we have geometrical figures. We have a circle, we have a square, we have a trapezium, we have a triangle. And in dance, we have figures which are sculpturous figures. They're different figures. But I would like to say, and facts. Without facts, nothing can happen. But your initial question, I think, yes, there was beauty in math that I loved. But once I was introduced to Odyssey, I saw greater beauty in Odyssey. And that's how I switched my career from teaching mathematics to studying, performing, and teaching Odyssey. And Guruji, as a mathematician in Odyssey, I think you used the right word, because the way he has played with the talas in the different pallavis, the way he has used the space, you know, even though he had not studied mathematics, in his choreography, there would be a square, there would be a triangle, circles very often, straight lines, and then he would, like, okay, he wouldn't say parallel lines, but in a choreography, if there's one line here, and if they were not exactly parallel, he would, so that was math. That was math. And in Bilahari Pallavi, the way he has choreographed, he creates an octagon. An octagon is like you have a square which has 4 sides, or a triangle which has 3 sides. An octagon is a figure which has 8 sides of the same dimension. And his Bilahari Pallavi, because his eyes, like, okay, you start, you go, and if you have gone wrong anywhere, you don't reach the same spot, you reach somewhere else. So that means the octagon is not complete. He never used that word because he didn't know that. But the dance had to be so precise that the octagon is complete and you're back into your place.
Wow.
So I think he was one of those lucky people that just came to this world with all this knowledge without having to study it.
And we were also blessed to have him. Ma'am, just on that note, given that the use of stage geometry, stage spacing, aesthetics, you have done a lot of choreographies in a lot of your Nrityanjali, your Arpanams, your offerings, your dance offerings, compositions, whether it would be tribute to Guruji, whether it's your own compositions for any occasion, your works, your collection of works. How do you envision the future of Odyssey, with the pedagogy that you use, with your sense of aesthetics and your outreach, I would say?
See, a lot of people say that classical dance is going to die out, Odyssey is going to die out. I don't believe that at all. And see, everything evolves. Everything evolves. Now, we haven't really seen how, okay, we have seen the later on Maharis who were alive and the Gotipuas. But way back, we don't know what Odyssey was. Once Guruji mentioned to someone, because he always used to be praised for what he has done for Odyssey, and he would never himself ever say that he has done this. He said that I just found a sculpture that was covered with dust, totally covered with dust. I just cleaned up the statue, the sculpture, moved the dust away, and presented it to you. I haven't done anything. It was there. I just made it a little more beautiful and brought it in front of you. And when a man like Guruji says like that, and that's the way he's given Odissi to the world, Odissi is not going to die out. And because Guruji was so open minded, a lot of his students are doing various experiments with the form by using the form. Sometimes you use the form as it is, sometimes you use the form and along with it, you bring something else. So, Odissi is going to grow and it is going to evolve more and more because what happens is, I would say that those who comment upon those others who try to do different things, they are like this, so they do not see what is happening here and what is happening here.
It's like a horse with
Yeah,
blinders.
yes, it's
Mhm.
like Guruji was never like this. He was not only like this, he was like this. He wanted everything. And when we had, so again, it is evolving. And it's like, one more thing I'll tell you, like Guruji would teach us something, and maybe after a month or so, when we were practicing, he would say, Nai, semiti nai, imiti. So he would, and then somebody would say, Guruji, you're changing it. It was not like this, it was like this. And he would get very angry. So once I said, no, 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 Guruji is not changing it, he's enhancing it. So then Guruji immediately, hey, what is that word? Because he had picked up English just like that. So he said, tell me what is the difference between change and enhance. When I told him, he was very happy. Because what happens, it's his creation. He has created with, say, person X. Then the same creation person A dances. Then he figures that person's A's body is like this. So this will suit that body. So it is enhancement. So the same way I feel Odyssey is evolving, it is getting enhanced because society is evolving, society is changing, getting enhanced. And I feel whatever is in life and in society has to evolve and enhance.
Sure, ma'am. Just if you can please share with us a small note about uh, what you have done, like the works that you have done in terms of that are in tune with these times, that are not necessarily that are more contemporary in theme or social in whether it's a social issue, whether it's a current thing, or
Mm-hmm.
like just like you mentioned, as everything evolves.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to share something that you have worked on that?
I'll do that very briefly because
Sure,
basically
ma'am.
this is about Guruji, right?
Yes, ma'am. But we would
Then,
also like to know how you have taken that nature of evolving and enhancing into your work as well. So,
okay, I've done pieces where um, I've shown that a girl child is important using Pallavi notes and little dialogue and things like that. I have shown anti dowry this because, in like there are many youngsters who do not even know what is dowry. But in um,
rural
rural areas,
areas
that still exists.
exists.
Then I have done, okay, I've done math and dance together. Uh, that's on a 12th century treatise called Leelavati. Then I don't, this is, I mean, this is a very old production that social in the way is that I don't know how many youngsters would know of Medha Patkar, but she fought for the tribals whose lives were completely disrupted, who lived on the banks of Narmada River. So I did a production called Narmada, which showcased that social issue. Then I have taken Savitribai Phule was the first Indian woman teacher and who opened schools for the lower caste, for the Dalit children, as well as for the Brahmin uh, girls who were not allowed
Allowed.
at that time to study. I've done a production on her. So, well, that's it. I mean, I've done lots. How much to talk, that's okay.
Ma'am, so I really feel that while this is about Guruji,
And 1 minute, sorry,
no.
sorry to break you.
No, not at all.
Along with that, traditional just continues. I have choreographed traditional pallavis, traditional abhinayas, and traditional mangalacharans too, akin to the way Guruji used to do it.
Ma'am, the reason I asked this is we all like the changing global landscape, changing landscape in India. While I understand this is about Guruji, it's also about understanding how our gurus of this age, like all of you, how you envision it so that we may be able to partake of this and like do something like this in the future.
That I would see, I would say it's an advice that be first totally groomed and grounded in your basic traditional dance form.
So that is a non-negotiable.
Yes, be it Odissi, Bharatanatyam, Kathak, whatever. And then try and experiment. And then try and touch different subjects. Because if your mind, heart, soul, and body is not seeped into the classical form that you are doing, you want to do, if you try to experiment before that happens, it'll be a mess.
So, ma'am, given that you just brought this up, how would you classify, how would you tell younger dancers to maintain that integrity and purity of the dance? And what are the non-negotiables that you would say that I mean, here in this case, it's Odissi, but in any dance form, it's applicable to every classical. What is that non-negotiable in your mind that would preserve the essence of the classicism of the art form that we are a part of?
Just keep practicing, riyaz karo. Keep practicing what has been taught to you by your guru. Be sure that you are excellent at it, that it has seeped into yourself. And then try and experiment. And always try and experiment. Don't stick to only traditional.
So, ma'am, when you say experiment, what is happening to what we see across several platforms, especially on social media and by youngsters, younger generations of dancers? First, like you said, maybe several of them do not have enough of a molding into a certain form. How do we maintain that dignity? Like, what responsibility do you think we have in ensuring that even if they're a beginner or they're in the middle stage of their career, how do we maintain the dignity, the depth of the art form and its authenticity? Because social media has a lot to play. I mean, it plays around with all of our minds a lot. So how can we, while trying to be social media savvy, maintain the authenticity of what we wish to project?
See, I am not much on social media, but
Yes,
maybe you mean that someone who is a beginner takes some music and does Odissi on it. It's something like that you mean?
So right now it's more about showcasing a reel rather than doing something in real. So what goes across is we end up dancing for the purpose of a reel, not for the purpose of practice. So how do we maintain
No, but if that is the demand of the young generation, Z, y'all are called Generation Z, right? No.
I am a millennial, but there's Gen Z and Gen Alpha who are born there's a Gen Z and a Gen Alpha.
So if they want to showcase a reel, I think it's okay. But showcasing a reel doesn't mean that otherwise you do not practice.
And otherwise you do not disrespect the form in any manner.
Yes. So your riyaz and your practice should continue. But because of the mahol is like that you have to showcase yourself with the reel, otherwise you're not known, do it. Do it in a different way. That's it.
Finally, just a couple more sentences from you, ma'am. I know this has been quite long. I do tend to pick up from what you end up speaking. One thing I know that you mentioned to young Odissi practitioners is stay faithful to your dance form. Continue to practice. Do your riyaz sincerely and diligently. But what is the role of people like yourself, of senior gurus, in ensuring that we get the correct message and propagate this dance form in the manner that you bequeath to us?
I think the message comes through every teacher. If they see that their teacher or their guru keeps practicing what she or he has learned from his or her teachers and gurus, the way it is, and through that is creating something different, then the students will also feel, yes, we need to practice. We need to keep what is there the way it is, keep going on, and using that as the base, create something new.
So that can be both taken as the message that you would like to pass on to young dancers,
Sure.
as well as the role that you feel that senior gurus
as a teacher, I
that
need
you
to do.
have.
Absolutely.
So it can be
Yes,
definitely
both
taken as
ways.
both ways.
Yes.
Any parting words, ma'am? Any small anecdote that you would like to end with, so that we can all take that memory back in addition to all the
I
questions?
will just say, because we've just finished Guruji's
birth centenary.
birth centenary, that, and it was such a grand event. I need to publicly thank Shibu, that is Ratikant Mahapatra, and all of you youngsters, who were with him, all the Srjan family, I would call it. And I would like to thank you all more. But of course, I have to thank the Odisha government, the Department of Literature and Language and Culture.
Odia Language, Literature
Yeah,
and Culture.
and also the Kelucharan Mahapatra Odissi Research Center. That such a grand event happened. I will say hats off, because a man like Guruji deserves an event like this. And it was fantastic. And people, well, I didn't speak about Guruji's humility, everybody knows it. But I think that Guruji was very successful, not only transferring his dance to his son, but transferring that humility also to his son. And he has been successful in transferring that humility to all the younger generation that comes in contact with him. And that is, I would say, a very important factor for this event to have been so successful.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much, ma'am. Thank you. It was actually an honor for us to be a part of this Guru Kelu Charana Kirti Shatakam, which is Padma Vibhushan awardee Guru Sri Kelu Charan Mahapatra's birth centenary celebration for the younger generation, ma'am, as you call us, to be able to witness such senior gurus of the yesteryear on one platform for 3 days, and for me to have this interaction with you, Jhelamappa. Thank you. It's been an absolute honor.
You're welcome, my dear.
There's so much to learn from every word, every nuance, even small dialogues in the background, backstage that our gurus would say. It's been a wonderful 3 days, and my most humble and sincere pranams to you.
It's all because of him. He's sitting up there and making us do all this.
And of course, my most sincere pranam to Guru Sri Kelucharan Mahapatra.
Yes. Thank you.